Really, this journey began from my own near-death experience in 2008. I was 24 years old. I had recently graduated from college, out in the workforce, trying to find my way. And this was an experience that was so big that it completely set me on a new path. So prior to this major illness, I ended up having necrotizing fasciitis, or the flesh-eating bacteria, in my throat, chest, and abdomen. So it was very serious. I had between a 1 and 10% chance of surviving this illness. But prior to contracting this illness, I had repeated disturbing nightmares that I was experiencing strangulation in my sleep. And the throat is where this illness began. So these dreams were really preparing me and warning me of what was to come later. So dreams is something that has been very important on my path. And when I was in this medically induced coma, I was put in a coma to save my life because of multiple life-saving operations and hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatments that I needed in order to survive. But when I was in this medically induced coma, I had these three big dreams that felt like entire lifetimes. So in one dream, which I won't go into too much detail about, I lived an entire life from a young woman to an older adult. And these experiences were very real, very profound. And there was even a moment within the coma where I experienced a complete surrender to the physical pain, the emotional pain. And I experienced a sense of, oneness, timelessness, incredible beauty, peace. Again, these experiences are very hard to verbalize because of the ineffable nature of these experiences, but it was deeply and profoundly changing for me. When I awoke from the coma, there was many barriers I had to overcome. Not only physically was I very challenged. I couldn't breathe on my own. I had to learn how to breathe again, eat, talk. I was less than 90 pounds, so I had to build the strength to walk, to hold my head up. So physically, it was very challenging. And I began to learn the art of putting in the effort to get better, challenge my body, challenge myself, and then also letting go. So that often is the most difficult part, is to let go when you are, grieving, trying to integrate a big change like this. And so I had to really learn to set aside any comparisons to my past self, others that were the same age. And I really had to develop this sense of mindfulness and presence. And also I became aware of just the reality of death. So even though I had overcome setback after setback, there were so many health challenges that I had during that time I was in the hospital. And I lived with that awareness of death. And that gave each moment such a feeling of meaning. My connections with my family and friends meant so much. Everything was very much magnified when I was in that setting. So I not only did I have the physical challenges to overcome, but I also had PTSD-like symptoms, as well as changes in the way I operated. So I had increased intuitive knowing, empathy. I had many, many precognitive dreams, lucid dreams, and it was very difficult for me to integrate these experiences because I had always been a high achiever. I was a philosophy major. I was very intellectual. And like many of us, I was very embedded in the current societal system of, working towards goal, time very much being linear. But I was having these experiences that really challenged that conception of reality. So this really set me on this personal and professional journey to understand how our relationship with time affects us on these various different levels, how relating to time in a different way can be healing or either distressing. And so I also began to expose myself to different teachers, mentors. I learned a lot from some Indigenous elders who showed me a different way of relating to oneself, spirit, creator, whatever word you want to use, as well as the world around us. So this was deeply and profoundly impactful, this experience, and most of my work has been informed from this really big experience in my life.